You've seen them, those digital cameras. They are everywhere, even in phones these days. Well, Dave Mathews, the Gadget Guy, is here to show us one digital camera. What's special about this one? You've had them before.
Yeah, they normally have been much lower resolution and they've been very large. And the prediction this year is 13 million digital cameras will be sold.
Really?
So this is going to far trounce any kind of analog film cameras that are being sold. They actually predict that analog film will decrease by 3% this year.
Wow.
So if you haven't bought a digital camera yet,
Which I have not.
This is finally, and I waited until this year as well, because finally at the electronics show this past January, the cameras have gotten much smaller.
Now that's convenient.
This is extremely small. It's made by Casio. Casio is one of the forerunners in digital camera technology, and this is the Exilium. It's E-X-I-L-I-M.
We think
And I actually called the 800 number before the segment here to see if they would say, welcome to the Casio hotline, and they did not. But what's great about this is there's a massive display on the back of it. It's got like a full 2-inch LCD display.
Usually you're squinting at that little thing.
You usually are. It's credit card size, so it's actually very small. But as I turn it on here, it's got a 3 times optical zoom. So you can see the zoom here is just, you know, it trounces any kind of other display that you'd have. But what's neat about it is the fact that it takes 3.2 megapixel cameras, and I'll kind of go through the good about this. First, it boots up extremely fast. When you power the unit on, in the past, digital cameras might take 20 to 30 seconds just to be ready to take a shot.
Who has that kind of time?
Well, if your little Schmigum's cat is in the cutest pose that you've ever seen and you try and capture the moment, sometimes you can't. Another thing that's nice is there's virtually no shutter lag. There's actually a 1/100th of a second between when you push the shutter button and take the picture.
That's pretty quick.
Again, if you're trying to get your whole family into a pose and everybody's smiling and then Uncle Fester frowns at the last minute, that's no fun. The 2-inch screen on the back is great for displaying pictures. You know, you can watch in real time to see if the picture that you took.
Yeah, and that is key. I mean, that really is to know if you got what you're shooting for.
And even this camera, because of the new engine, the processing engine, it only takes a split second to go between photos.
Is that the Gadget Guy Mance?
We're looking at some houses, so this is some different homes. But in order to view these displays, in the past it would paint the display. It takes several seconds just to view them.
That's pretty neat.
And then finally they used a glass lens. Part of the reason, because this has the zoom technology, the zoom lens on it, they used an actual glass lens. So in some cameras they have plastic or they have very weak optics. And if you're trying to take a quality picture, last thing you need is a plastic lens trying to capture that image. Now there are some bad things about this. Despite being a very small camera, very sleek. First of all, it does movies, and it'll play 30-second movies, and it keeps them in an AVI format, which is an uncompressed format. I really wish they would have done a QuickTime or some of these media formats. Another thing is you have to carry the cradle around if you're a road warrior and you want to keep this with you on a trip, because there's no way to charge outside of the cradle. So you have to pop it in, and actually it goes in backwards here, and then this charges the camera. So you've got to carry this little bulky piece with you, unless you buy an external charger, which would add like 40 or 50 bucks to it. And finally, it only comes with 10 megabytes of internal memory, so there's not a lot of memory inside the camera. You really need to buy the external memory, and for that, this camera uses SD. Now, different cameras use different types of memory formats, depending...
Is that a memory stick?
This is essentially... Memory stick is Sony's trademark, but this is a little postage stamp size memory, and there's several formats. What I like to do is match the memory with my MP3 player with that of my camera. So that way I only have to buy one format of memory,
there you go. Sure,
and then I can share them between different devices. Now these are 256 meg. This is about 70 bucks, so it's kind of expensive. So you don't want to buy a whole box of them, but and it is reusable. But you know, with resolution of digital cameras, there's several different things to look for, whether you're going to print or put cameras on the web. Printing takes much more resolution. So the quick rundown here is VGA resolution, or 640 by 480. This is generally what the camera phones do. It's very low resolution. It's just able to be seen on a monitor. You won't want to print
very utilitarian.
Great for eBay. From 1.3 megapixel, you can actually do a 4x6 print. So if you're used to doing those prints, that's a fine camera for you. 2 megapixel does 5x7, and 3.2 megapixel, which is this camera that I'm showing today, does actually 8x10 prints that have the same quality as a 35mm camera.
You're kidding me.
And that's why, at a price point, $399, we finally achieved 8x10 quality with a quality optical zoom and great speed.
Wow.
So it's a favorite.
Well, thanks for showing that to us, Gadget Guy.
Thank you.
/ Dave Mathews. That is interesting. I think you've piqued a lot of interest there. Up next, we'll have